for me that the man who's on my birth certificate was my father. And a couple of months ago, my mom told me that Mr. Wood, the guy who's deceased, that he could possibly be my father.
How long is he gonna keep it?
Just let it be known, Mom. Wish you had a man like him, and that's why you
God.
claim him to be a deadbeat, because that's what you're used to having, and that's what you want me to have. You're after him.
He ain't no
Or is he just
angel.
not thinking? That pop up,
He's
you
not
believe
thinking.
that when he say it's not his, you gonna believe him?
Point blank, what you say?
When the next baby pop up, you gonna say, "Oh, I believe you." If he say that
No,
ain't his.
we're gonna go get a paternity test.
Oh wow, the drama-laden Morris v. Brister is setting the scene for the high-stakes legal showdown. Both parties strut in, pumped and ready, as the court aims to untangle years of paternity confusion. Strap in, because this roller coaster of legal antics is just leaving the station.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Morris versus Brister.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Morris, you say you are 100% certain that you are the biological father of the 29-year-old woman standing across the aisle and want this court to put an end to years of confusion, lies, and doubt.
Here comes the bombshell. Mr. Morris steps up, totally convinced he's the biological dad of Ms. Brister, a 29-year-old woman. He's all about slicing through the years of fibs and doubts that have messed with their vibes. And just when you think it's all out on the table, there's more.
Mrs. Brister, you say you don't believe Mr. Morris is your father and that you've been lied to by your mother, Ms. Smith, regarding is your biological father. Ms. Smith, you are here to support Mr. Morris's claim that he is your daughter's biological father, and you pray today's results will heal old wounds.
Grab your popcorn. It's story time. Judge Lake cues Mr. Morris to dish out his reasons for believing Ms. Brister is his kin, setting the floor for some heartfelt monologues. Morris dives into his tale of emotional conviction, clinging to feelings over cold, hard facts. What's coming next? Oh, it's good.
When I met Mr. Smith this one evening as we were performing, I knew right then I wanted to be with him. One thing led to another, and I pulled him. Me and Mr. Smith, we did get together.
Let's rewind the love tape. Mr. Morris spills the tea on his old flames with Ms. Smith, Ms. Brister's mom, dating way back to 1984, featuring romantic entanglements and a shy guy caught in a love triangle. Brace yourself, the past gets even messier.
Well, actually, it didn't happen until the following evening because I had to get my cousin out of the way because by me being shy.
3 was company then?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Understood.
ma'am.
All right, so you all started a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did the relationship last?
About 3.5 years.
Talk about a soap opera. Their love saga was a battlefield with rival suitors duking it out for Ms. Smith's heart, stirring up the drama and complicating who might be the daddy. And just when you think you've seen it all, hold up, there's another twist.
It was. It's just I had to go through a lot of turmoil in order to be with her because she was a queen.
Because she
was a queen.
Okay.
There was a lot of different guys at her. And so, it was fight after fight with different people in the town that I didn't know nothing about. And
so was she with a lot of other people or just she had a lot of suitors?
A lot of suitors.
Guess who's back? After a 14-year hiatus, Ms. Smith and Mr. Morris are back in each other's arms, showcasing a tangled web of personal history that keeps evolving and affecting the big paternity reveal. Up next, the plot thickens even more.
After how many years?
14 years to be precise.
14 years.
Yeah.
And now you're back together.
Yes.
But there's still this paternity issue hanging in the balance. Yeah. Why? You say you were only with her. She said she was only with you.
I came back to town after hearing it from 3 different individuals that she was pregnant with my child at the time. And we stayed in 2 different towns. So when I heard it more than twice, I would say,
Timeline alert. Ms. Brister pulls out a timeline, walking the court through her mom's flip-flopping stories about who her real dad is, highlighting how this paternity mystery has been a real emotional roller coaster. Don't go anywhere. The emotional ride is about to go off the rails.
You brought an exhibit for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
This is just timeline of some of the things that she's told me over the years. I've always known the man on my birth certificate to be my father. I was about 16. Mr. Morris, he came to visit. He introduced himself as my dad. I don't remember the entire conversation that we had, but I do remember him saying that he was my dad.
Memory lane or memory loss? Mr. Morris recalls a time when he embraced the father role during an extended visit, a memory that seems to clash with Ms. Brister's recollection of him bailing soon after his big dad reveal. What's next? Oh, it gets even more tangled.
I was in town for almost 6 months.
But were you father to her?
Yes, I was active in her life at that time, but she didn't live with us.
The last point on your board, your exhibit,
Yes, like I was saying, it went back to normal for me that the man who's on my birth certificate was my father. And a couple of months ago, my mom told me that Mr. Wood, the guy who's deceased, that he could possibly be my father.
Get your tissues ready. It's a tearjerker. Ms. Brister talks about the emotional whirlwind and the chaos of potentially having multiple dads, shedding light on the deep personal impact of this unresolved dad drama. Stay tuned because the emotional stakes are about to soar.
Ms. Smith, I need to ask you, I think it would even help your daughter more to understand why so many stories.
Just didn't want her to. I just didn't want her to. I was trying to protect her.
Is it because you knew that more than one man could potentially be her father? Or is it because you believed Mr. Morris was her biological father and he was living such a life outside the lines?
Yeah.
This is a game changer. Mr. Morris lays out the bizarre legal and personal twists that convinced him he was Ms. Brister's pops, including a plot twist involving child support papers while he was behind bars. You're not gonna believe what happens next.
What makes you so certain she is your biological daughter?
When I was incarcerated, sheriff deputies there, they presented me with paperwork saying that I was being sued by Internal Revenue. I had the papers looked at by a law clerk.
So the bottom line is, while you were away,
Yeah.
you were served,
Yeah.
or you received the paperwork indicating that you owe child support.
Yes.
It's do or die time. With the tension peaking, Mr. Morris and Ms. Smith throw down their final heart-tugging pleas to the court, with Morris explaining his MIA dad status due to his wild personal life. Brace for impact, because the biggest bombshell is just around the corner.
Ms. Brister, as you talk about the various stories your mother told you, is there anything you'd like to say to your mother about how these stories have affected you, affected you?
It's just confusing. I mean, I want to know for me and for my children, just for things that he couldn't be a part of in my life.
Hold on to your hats. Here comes the shocker. As the climax hits, Judge Lake unveils the DNA test results, and boom!
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris,
Yes, Shauna.
you are not her father.
What?
Mrs. Scott McCrae isn't pulling any punches. She accuses her daughter, Mrs. Scott, of relying on her financially due to her husband's lackluster performance as a provider. She's demanding a hefty $3,900 in unpaid loans back. The audience can't help but gasp at the audacity, and you can cut the tension with a knife as Mrs. Scott McCrae lays it all out there. Can you believe this? And guess what? It only gets more bonkers from here.
Ms. Scott McCrae, you are suing your daughter for $3,900 in unpaid loans.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Scott, you say your mother was an addict when you were younger and now tries to act holier than thou.
Yes.
You believe that your mother is jealous of you and wants your husband.
Oh boy, it's heating up now. Amidst fiery exchanges, Ms. Scott McCrae labels her son-in-law a total deadbeat, slamming him for not being able to hold down a job and keep the cash flowing. The accusations fly thick and fast, with Miss Scott jumping to her hubby's defense, showcasing the deep cracks and financial woes tearing at the fabric of their family life. Stick around, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
He has a job.
When
he
did
just
he
got
get
a
it?
job.
Last week?
It doesn't matter
And
when
how long
he
is
got
he
it.
gonna
He's
keep
working.
it? 2
So, Ms.
weeks?
Scott McCrae,
How long is he gonna keep it?
Just let it be known, Mom. Wish you had a man like him, and
my
that's why you
God.
claim him to be a deadbeat, because that's what you're used to having, and that's what you want me to have. You're after him. They're my man.
Ms. Scott McCrae.
And just when you think they might take a breather, nope, the spotlight shifts to the daily chaos of their home life. Picture this. The son-in-law, Toy, decides to polish off all the cereal and milk, leaving zilch for the kiddos. This little breakfast debacle turns out to be a perfect metaphor for the ongoing drama about responsibility and care, or the lack thereof, sparking a full-blown courtroom melee. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next.
He was laid off. If a job runs out of work, they lay you off.
But your daughter and her husband decided that maybe it was more financially beneficial for him to quit his job so that he could take care of the kids. Isn't that a family decision?
When you're getting evicted every 6 to 7 months, it shouldn't be a family decision.
Grab your popcorn, folks. As if the family saga couldn't get more tangled, Ms. Scott confronts her mom over some seriously questionable antics with her husband. She throws around accusations of inappropriate behavior and hidden attractions. Yikes! This not only throws a wrench in their relationship, but also splashes their dirty laundry all over the public domain. And just when you think it can't get any more intense, the next revelation is a real jaw-dropper.
Then let's ask her to help us with the rent. We were 2 months behind. We needed to give him $1,200. I went to my mother and told her, we got half in cash. Can you meet me the other half of the way so we all still have a place to live? She told me, yes. I'll take y'all cash and give you a check for the full amount. My landlord called me and said, well, this check I'm at the bank and it's not going through. It's not clearing.
I didn't have to pay your bill, Celeste.
But you agreed to, and
I
your
paid
grandchildren
what
were
I I agreed to pay.
Here comes Mr. Young, the man of the hour, jumping into the fray to defend his honor against the relentless deadbeat Diggs. He lays out the complex web of financial dependencies and expectations straining their family ties, offering a glimpse into the real struggles they face. This is more than just family drama. It's a full-blown financial soap opera. Don't go anywhere because the plot thickens in just a moment.
Well, a lot has been said about you, and I want to know you have to add to this.
She always touching me on my chest.
What chest?
She always pouting on me. She always saying, you more than I can't get my son or the man I'm sleeping with to do. Came out the blue one day to even come and get me by myself for her.
A $30
that
tent,
her grown
from
son
Family Dollar.
and the man she's sleeping with in the same
They
house.
were all there when he put that tent up.
Are you ready for the big reveal? The much anticipated lie detector results are in, and boy, do they deliver a bombshell.
You said no.
No.
And the lie detector determined that was the truth.
Yes, it was.
Ms. Scott, you were asked if you want a sexual relationship with your son-in-law, Toy.
Made my head hurt.
You said no, and the lie detector determined that was the truth.
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right.
So, Ms. Johnson storms into the courtroom with all the drama of a season finale, claiming Mr. Rice is the father of her 6-month-old son. She's totally fired up, accusing him of ghosting her and the baby. She's super determined to prove paternity today, airing out her frustrations and intentions in front of the judge like it's her personal reality show. The courtroom is buzzing.
Ms. Johnson, you have summoned the defendant to court today to prove that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Jeremiah. You are furious that he never met your baby and plan to prove paternity today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rice, you say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father, and you claim to know who is.
Then, Mr. Reese claps back hard. He's like, nope, not my kid, denying the claims with all the certainty of someone who's just aced a lie detector test. He even drops another guy's name into the mix, stirring up the plot soup. This moment is pure soap opera gold, setting the stage for all the emotional and legal fireworks that are about to go off.
He hasn't been there since I was 2 months pregnant, actually.
Mr. Rice, you haven't seen the baby not once. You haven't come to see the baby once.
No, Your Honor. Why would I come see a baby that I don't believe is mine? I have my doubts for a reason.
Ms. Johnson isn't having any of it, though. She brings up how Mr. Rice has been MIA since she mentioned the 2 pink lines. She's laying it on thick, making sure everyone knows just how uninvolved he's been. Meanwhile, Mr. Rice is on defense mode, arguing why should he be dad to a kid he doesn't believe is his. It's like watching a tennis match of accusations.
We were friends prior to that, but it went further than expected. We had sex, and I found out I was pregnant in September.
Back when we first met, back in high school, I've always had a crush on her. You know, when she needed something, you know, I would be there for her. Even when she needed a shoulder to cry on, I was just that person to be there.
Let's take a quick flashback to the origins of this hot mess. Turns out, Ms. Johnson turned to Mr. Rice for some comfort after a bad breakup, which led to what she thought was a rebound fling, turning into a baby-making sesh. Here's the scoop on their rocky romance, adding some juicy backstory to the current paternity showdown. Bet you didn't see that coming.
So you all start having a sexual relationship.
Yes,
Yes,
Your
Your
Honor.
How long did it last?
It lasted about 2 months.
Three?
2 to 3 months.
Tell me what happened when you found out you were pregnant.
I had just a regular doctor's appointment. I wasn't feeling good, and when I got in there, she said, she was like, Miss Johnson, you're pregnant. And I was like, what?
Picture this. Ms. Johnson's at the docks, finds out she's pregnant, and she's over the moon thinking Mr. Rice will be too, because you know, they'd chatted about having mini-mez someday. But oh boy, did things take a nosedive when reality hit. It's like expecting a rom-com ending and getting a thriller twist instead.
Me and Mr. Rice had already talked about, you know, he said he wanted kids. I didn't think it was a problem. I thought he would be happy that I was pregnant. And he was happy. Then I don't know.
Then what?
I got in my feelings and I broke up with her. I think it was more, yeah, we broke up.
Twist alert. Mr. Rice actually seemed thrilled about the baby news at first, but then, plot twist, Ms. Johnson mentions the baby could also be her ex's. Cue the dramatic music. This bombshell adds layers of doubt and leads to their epic breakup. Seriously, could this get any more tangled?
How does she tell you that she's
Well,
pregnant?
first of all, I had left my phone in my brother's car. I was at school.
Okay.
And he came and told me about it. And then I got on the phone with her, and she
So
told me.
how did he tell you it was on your
Because she
phone?
was calling my phone.
Oh, she was
I messaged his friend because I knew him just like he knew him. So I messaged him and was like, have you seen Mr. Rice? And he was like, he hasn't seen him, but when he does, he'll tell him. I told him to tell him I was pregnant, and he told her.
Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, Mr. Rice finds out he's all clear of any STDs, which contradicts Ms. Johnson's story of them being exclusive. This sparks even more doubts about the whole paternity and fidelity scenario. It's like a reality check that hits harder than a morning alarm.
I go to about one doctor's appointment with her, and after that, she tells me she has an STD. I say, okay. So I go to the doctor, I get checked, I take the medicine, but the doctor calls me the next day and tells me, sir, you don't have an STD at all.
That doesn't make sense to me at all, Your Honor.
If it doesn't make sense,
I wasn't having sex with anybody but him during the time. So there was no way that he didn't have it.
Here's Mr. Rice playing detective, breaking down the pregnancy timeline like he's solving a mystery on a crime show. He's pointing out all these date discrepancies that could hint at another man being involved. It's like he's piecing together a puzzle, except it's a baby's paternity on the line.
And so, Mr. Rice, I can imagine that only furthers your doubt hearing this testimony, even if you've never heard it before.
And I want to tell you about my DNA test doubt.
Step up to the monitor.
Well, Miss Johnson called me on the day Jeremiah was born, and she told me I could come up there and I could get my DNA test done, you know, whatever I needed to do. I said, okay, I will come up there when I get off of work.
Buckle up, folks, because here comes the big reveal. The judge is about to drop the DNA test results, and the tension in the courtroom is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. This is the moment everyone's been waiting for, where all questions will be answered and destinies decided. Grab your popcorn. This is gonna be good.
It's time to get down to the bottom of this. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. These results paired by DNA diagnostics, and they read as follows.
And boom, DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Rice. You are the father.
The drama kicks off smoothly as everyone settles into their seats. The court session begins with the judge allowing everyone to be seated and the case being introduced as Torrey Henderson v. Goodson. The introduction sets the stage for the complex interpersonal dynamics about to be unraveled. Buckle up because you're in for a wild ride.
Ms. Torrey and Ms. Henderson, you have both entered the court today with cases against the defendant, Mr. Goodson. You have joined together because you, Ms. Torrey, claim the defendant is denying his father of your 2 kids. And Ms. Henderson.
As Ms. Henderson spins her tale, the plot thickens and the crowd chuckles. The narrative of Ms. Henderson's prior interactions with Mr. Goodson's cousin is shared, involving social outings and ambiguous romantic signals. The recounting of these events brings humor and disbelief into the courtroom as she reveals the complexities of their relationships. Hold on to your hats, because this soap opera has more twists than a pretzel.
So one day he came to pick me up in a white car, a white truck or whatever. He in the back car, like looking at me like, ooh, he wanted me or whatever. He come calling me like, what's up, baby? I'm like, who is this? He like, this chubby. Oh, you don't remember the dude in the back of the car? I think you cute.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more ludicrous, enter the stolen car saga. The episode takes a dramatic turn when Ms. Henderson describes being picked up in a stolen car by Mr. Goodson, leading to a police intervention. This anecdote underscores the reckless behavior and questionable decisions surrounding their relationships. And you thought your dating life was complicated.
So he come picks me up in the stolo. I'm looking out the window. He like, yeah, boo, I'm outside. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze, get out the car. What? Really right.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing.
I believe because one day his mama said he stole her car to come and see me.
Mr. Thomas steps up and the courtroom's curiosity peaks. He is brought into the courtroom to clarify his brief relationship with Ms. Henderson, which he describes as a one-night stand, complicating the paternity issue with Mr. Goodson. This testimony highlights the intertwined and casual relationships among the parties. Who knew the dating pool was this entangling?
Now, Mr. Thomas, what was your relationship with Ms. Henderson?
It's just like a friendship, one-night thing, you know how it be, some nights.
Oh my gosh.
I said it just
a little louder.
It's like a one-night thing, you know how it be, some nights you might get drunk.
Right.
Okay, so it was a one-night stand.
Miss Torrey doesn't hold back, pouring her heart out and stirring the pot further. The emotional strain and interpersonal conflicts reach a peak when Miss Torrey discusses the negative impact of Mr. Goodson's denial and alleged infidelities on their children. Her emotional statement underscores the real stakes of the paternity disputes. Next up, let's hear from the peanut gallery. Any takers?
You have 2 kids that you claim he's not taking care of.
Right.
Why do you think he's denying?
I don't know. He got insecurities. He been saying I've been cheating ever since we met each. I even got his name tattooed on my neck. Like, how can you cheat on somebody like that?
That's his name on your neck?
Yeah.
Things take a sober turn as Mr. Goodson's mother steps into the fray with some hard truths. The court hears from Mr. Goodson's mother, who expresses her disappointment in her son's irresponsible behavior, particularly regarding his role as a father. Her passionate plea emphasizes the generational impact of such familial disputes. Mama has spoken, folks. Let's see if that shakes some sense into him.
Chubby,
You shut up. You shut up. You shut up.
When I see y'all on the internet, all three of y'all baby mama.
What about your son here? Because
he ain't no, you know what? He ain't no angel either, baby. He ain't no
or
angel
is he
either.
just
So the
not
next baby
thinking?
that pop up,
He's not thinking.
When the next baby pop up, you gonna say, "Oh, I believe you." If he say that,
No,
ain't his.
we're gonna go get a paternity test.
Drum roll, please. The paternity test results are in, and boy, do they deliver a bombshell.
It has been determined that when it comes to 4-year-old Lazasia, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to say much because your mother has said it all.